Good evening, my dear JEE 2025 warriors. Welcome aboard. Your JEE English team is live with your Diksha ma'am and Captain Shreyas and Namrata ma'am. Yes, of course. Okay, welcome, and on demand session because 28th, 29th students. You guys will be extremely lucky if NTA is lazy to not change, the weightage of the questions. But this weightage is this year's weightage. So let's begin the session based on the most repeated models for 28, 29, based on the analysis done for 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And what should be the Guru Dakshina for this?
Like, share, comment.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So please like this video. And if you don't like this video, then we'll be like, okay, Chumma, we wasted so much of our effort, time, and energy. And
this break
Guru
our
Dakshina.
heart.
Yeah. So give your Guru Dakshina right now. So let's start with the most repeated model, starting off with, I think, first subject is physics. Okay, let's start with physics first. So I'll tell you what are the important models. So take a note of it. And if you want the PDF, let me know in the comments as well. Okay, I'll share the PDF. Great. Thank you so much. Cuberhead Blockbuster, Sweetie, William, Naganshri, Azhar. Thank you, Richard. Welcome aboard, Jeffrey. Welcome, Blockbusters. All right, so let's begin. In dimensions and formulas, I have taken few screenshots of the questions which have come from 22nd to 24th. Every single shift, they have asked a question on dimensions, dimension analysis, finding the dimensional formula of some physical quantity, or they will give you some equation and again finding the dimensions of it. So please practice these questions, okay? So dimensional formula, dimensional analysis is definitely going to come. Projectile motion, almost every single shift had it, where at the maximum height, what is the kinetic energy? At the maximum height, what is the angular momentum? Such things have been asked in all the shifts. So projectile motion equation, their maximum height, time formulas, and the concepts related to maximum height. Please do it, okay? So that's the next concept. Work related calculations. A function is given, integrated, and sometimes the work is given, what is the force, or certain conditions of finding some constants. Almost many shifts had the concepts of work calculation from your work power energy chapter. Then if you go to energy and circular motion from again work power energy and circular motion, many questions were there about pendulum, conical pendulum, or banked road, or car turning along a curved road. What is the speed? What is the coefficient of friction? If the ball has this much speed, what is the speed at this point? Almost most of the shifts had this kind of questions on energy and circular motion. Okay. Next important topic is the bodies with cavity. This was by far one of the most repeated, where there is something removed and you have to find where the center of mass is. Something is removed, what is the moment of inertia? Something is removed, what is the new gravitational force? So these concepts, truncated bodies or composite bodies, this concept is very important, whether it is center of mass, force, or even moment of inertia. Then the rolling motion was repeated almost every single time. That's the best part, guys, when you know the subtopics. And the best part is I'm not giving you chapter names. I'm telling you subtopics which have been repeated. Every single shift almost had this. What is the acceleration? What is the speed at the bottom? What's the ratio of the translational and rotational kinetic energy in rolling motion? Almost most of the shifts, concept of rolling. Thermodynamic cycles, almost every shift. Graph is given, find the work done of each process. Is which kind of thing is constant? Is it pressure constant? Is it volume constant? And what is the work done in this thermodynamic process? Almost every shift had this particular question. Next, simple harmonic motion kinematics. The speed is asked, then amplitude is asked, the time taken is asked, related to kinematics, position, velocity, acceleration, displacement, force. So these questions were again very much repeated. Next, surface energy, calculation of the surface potential energy from the chapter of surface tension, mechanical properties of fluids. Many shifts had this particular concept. You break a drop into multiple drops, or you are elongating a surface film. What is the new surface energy? Then if you talk about pressure difference in bubbles or pressure difference across curved surfaces, that question was also repeated, and that concept is very important. Next concept, is Bernoulli's theorem and equation of continuity. Many shifts had this direct question. It was not very difficult. Next, acceleration due to gravity. Mass has changed, radius has changed, density has changed. What's the ratio of the acceleration due to gravity? Many shifts had this concept. Kepler's law and satellite, especially the third law of Kepler, or the satellite's energy, or how much time will the satellite take. These kind of questions were again repeated many times in many shifts. Then electric force and energy. These were laddu questions. What is electrical potential energy of two charges? What is the electrical force? Or, what is the force if you move this charge from here to here? These concepts were repeated many times. Gauss law and flux calculation. And good questions were asked from this. So please take a note of the newer model of concepts and questions which are asked from Gauss law and flux. Magnetic field due to long wires, circular loops, square loops, the graphs. Again, most repeated concept. Electromagnetic waves, very good question had come, and other questions were very relatively simple on comparing the wavelengths or just finding the speed or the electric field or the magnetic field. This question was particularly very good. Then focal length calculations. Ray optics was heavily repeated. Some shifts had 3 questions of ray optics. So that is a very high weightage topic. Calculating the focal length of mirrors and lenses, and sometimes the power relationship with the medium refractive index. Then combination of lenses, heavily repeated. Cutting a lens, combining a lens with a concave lens inside some medium, very high weightage. Young's double slit experiment, usually the questions were on statement based or direct formula based. Then photoelectric effect, direct photoelectric equation was given and you were asked to find out different things, and we have repeated these kind of questions many times in our mock test. Semiconductor based questions where diodes are given, you have to find the current distribution, or basically statement based questions. And lastly, the logic gates where truth table or the type of diode is asked, or what kind of operation is being performed is asked. So logic gates was again heavily repeated. All right, so that's about physics. Time for chemistry.
Now guys, as sir has told, photoelectric effect and work done in isothermal isobaric processes, so that also has been asked in chemistry, right? So now starting with the other topics here, the first is electronic configuration. We usually ignore the electronic configuration of D block and F block elements, especially lanthanoids. So these questions are being asked directly from that. Next is your crystal field theory. Now from crystal field theory, directly on octahedral complexes, they are asking you these kind of questions where T2G, EG kind, very simple complexes, very simple questions they have asked you, right? Next is properties of periodic table. So the exceptional trends and the general properties in the chemical bonding and the periodic table plus P block, they are asking you in the match the following or statement based questions. Next is hybridization magnetic moment. Now hybridization magnetic moment from chemical bonding and from coordination chemistry, there are high weightages of coordination chemistry that we can see from the past 6 shifts, right? Next is Gibbs-Helmont equation. So from thermodynamics, Gibbs-Helmont equation, this question is repeated in almost every shift. First question, second question, third question. Okay, based on that particular formula, simple. Next is Werner's theory. So who can expect question from Werner's theory? But they have asked question from that, right? Now, 2 questions are simple only. Here they have asked you about the Werner's theory directly. The complexes here also directly the complexes. But one question has been done in which the combination of solution chapter from physical chemistry and Werner theory has been asked to you, right? Next is solubility product from equilibrium. Solubility product has been asked to you, right? Solubility, 1 question, second question, third question, same formula has been applied. First, second question, same formula has been applied of KSP. Now for electrode potential, the major focus is on calculating the value of E0 from E0 cathode and E0 anode, and the other is the conservation of Gibbs free enthalpy in terms of electrode potential. Based on that, they have asked this question, and based on that, they have asked this question in terms of X, Y, and Z. Next is equilibrium constant. So from equilibrium, first is ionic equilibrium, they are asking solubility product. Second is directly equilibrium based questions, where they are focusing on Kp, not Kc, right? So here the question is based on Kp, and here also based on Kp. Simple calculation it is, right? Next you have Bohr model. So I would advise you in Bohr model right now. In the previous shift they were asking question based on the radius, but my idea is now they can also ask you question based on the velocity and the energy, because those two formulas are also very important. Now one question has been asked on the Bohr Bohr momentum and the relation with the radius, right? Next is mole concept. So from mole concept you can see directly so many questions are asked based on simple stoichiometry of the mole concept. Simple thing will be applied here, right? First, second, third. Now this question is also based on mole concept. Two very simple concepts you have. One is limiting reagent. From limiting reagent you can see this very simple concept, this one, okay? Percentages. Now other is, wait a minute, this was empirical formula. Yes, this is the limiting reagent, right? So limiting reagent, 2 questions has been asked. Empirical formula, 1 question has been asked. That is under the category of mole concept only, so don't skip mole concept. Next is Lissagne's test. So from practical chemistry as such no questions are being asked, but from qualitative, quantitative and purification they have asked the questions. Now what kind of question they are asking? 2 questions were based on the Lissagne's test, right? Direct question. Now surprisingly they are also asking you questions from the detection of elements, the calculation part, the Carrier's method, you can say Dumas method. Now Jeldal method has not been asked till yet, but chances are they can ask you Jeldal method in 28th and 29th, right? Next is ozonolysis. So as I always tell, ozonolysis is a very important topic. Now here 2 kind of questions they have asked. One was a very simple direct question, and other is a complex question where aldol condensation was also taken part, right? Next is from organic chemistry, we have stability of intermediate GOC based on BARHI, right? From GOC, they are asking you the stability of ions, maybe directly. This is asked directly, and this is asked in the form of a reaction where you need to see the stability of carbocation and carbanion only. Now, next is stereoisomers. So from stereoisomers also very direct formula based question they are asking you, not complicated. This first question, this is the second question that they have asked. 2 raised to power n formula you have to apply here, right? Now, next is a distinguished test. So now listen to this very carefully, because from till now distinguished test has been asked in Fehling test. They have not asked iodoform test till now, but they can ask you iodoform test, they can ask you carbylamine test in the upcoming shifts, because they have asked 2 questions based on the distinguished test, that is Hinsberg and Fehling test, right? Next is reactions. So based on the reaction, firstly I would advise you go through my naming reaction if you have not done that, if you've not done that till. So go through naming reactions, directly naming reactions are asked to you. Next is some important reagents are asked to you, right? And very important, from amines they are asking the maximum question, from disonium chloride they are asking the maximum questions, okay? So so now it's turn for mathematics. Namrata ma'am, please.
So much of chemistry, ma'am. So much of chemistry. Okay, so mathematics time. Can you pass, ma'am, remote?
Yeah.
So, from mathematics, we've got couple of most repeated pattern, or you can say model over here. So, the first one I have got from coordinate geometry. So, coordinate geometry, image of a point on a line, right? So, this is asked in 2 shifts, you can see 22nd January shift 1, 24 January shift 1. Direct question, image of a point about a line, direct formula based question it was, just a little bit calculative, so you can just watch on this and revise this particular formula very well. Then the next is, this I have already been saying in every session, at least 15 sessions I have told you that properties of adjoint is very important. And can you see the proof? 22nd January shift 1, 24 January shift 1. you can do this question just by using two properties, and this question so you can do within 5 seconds. Okay, all right. The next topic will be, okay, surprisingly this topic, equivalence relation, it was not coming in previous like 2 years, but this year you can see 3 questions. This is bare minimum because we have not got all the questions. So I think more than 3 questions were asked from equivalence relation. Similar type of question in all 3 shifts. You can see 23 Jan, 22nd Jan and 22nd January shift 2 as well. Okay, so this is something which you can see, I think 28 and 29 January, this question will definitely be there in all 4 shifts because all 6th shift this particular question is coming. Okay, then we are going to have, okay, linear differential equation. I already told you that linear differential equation in Y though it was coming in 2024, but what is new in 2025? Linear differential equation in X have started, they have started giving. So you can see direct question, linear differential equation in X, direct formula, integrating factor you have to calculate, put the value, you'll get the answer. Then linear differential equation in Y also they were giving. Can you see 24 January shift 1 they have given this particular question. So yes, that is so quite obvious. Linear differential equation in Y, conventional question I would say. Then we are going to have, okay, shortest distance between 2 skew lines. This was important in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 and 2025 as well. Shortest distance between 2 skew lines. Again, my advice would be that this is a direct formula based question, but again heavy on calculation. So you need not pick this particular question in round number 1. Pick this question in round number 2 because it might take a little more time in solving this particular question. Then next we are going to have, okay, this is very easy type. Easiest of all I feel, direct question on AP and basically arithmetic progression, sum of the terms and general term formula. So you can see direct equation solving, like within 30 seconds you can solve this particular question over here. No, I think these type of questions are not that much calculative as well. So these are doable type of question. Then the next model will be relation between roots and coefficient. This is from quadratic equation, basic formula, sum of roots minus b by a, product of roots c by a. And then we are having this, okay, foot of perpendicular in 3D geometry, okay. Again, this was important in 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and now 25 as well. You can see 3 questions alone in 2025 from foot of perpendicular. Okay, all right. So over here, now we are having again this question. This is also most repeated, system of linear equations. You can say Cramer's rule, especially infinite solutions. You can see 22nd January, 23rd January, 24th January. Right here, direct condition you have to apply, just calculate. Again, this is again heavy on calculation, so be mindful when to pick this particular question. And then next we have chord whose equation of chord whose midpoint is given. The equation can be written by this very formula, which is T is equals to S1. You can see the similar question was asked in 23rd January shift 2 and the very next shift 24th January shift 1. Okay, and then from permutation and combination, quite a distributive topics were asked, but again predictable model, gap method or Fevicol method. Here is a glimpse of that particular question, 23 January shift 2, and some more questions were asked from this particular thing. Now some more topics I would like to give you if you want to try. Roots or number of solutions of a given equation. So you just have to plot the graph and check that how many solutions you are able to get in that particular graph. Okay, graphical approach. Then standard deviation variance from statistics. Surprisingly, 1 question in each shift they were giving from from statistics chapter. So what were the questions? Standard deviation variance or missing or incorrect data about that statistics. Then we have random variable, which is the combination topic from probability and statistics. And then we have some questions from properties of binomial theorem. But understand one more thing, because mathematics, if I talk about mathematics, it is coming slightly different from physics and chemistry. You also know that. So tips for mathematics would be, see, the questions are easy to moderate. It is not something that I am not able to understand or decode the question. The decoding of question is done nicely. Predictable model are there. But the point is, heavy on calculations, right? So you have to pick very smartly. Question selection is the key. You don't have to do every question in mathematics because the cutoff of mathematics is obviously lower than physics and chemistry. So question selection, question identification is the key, and target those questions which can be done quickly and within the time, or it may require some trick, some ninja technique, you never know. And time management is the key. These are the last tips, last minute tips for mathematics. Okay. All right.
All right. So with this, oh, sorry, what am I doing? Okay. So with this, my dear students, I hope you got an idea of all the topics, and this is probably one of the best sessions out there on YouTube, because I'll tell you why. This session was prepared with the hard work of our backend team and us, and it has taken a lot of time to see the important topics for 28th and 29th. 28th and 29th students will thank us if NTA is lazy, and I guess they will be lazy because they can't radically change the weightage of the paper suddenly for the last 2 days. Okay, so make sure you're liking this video and sharing it with all your friends, and if you want us to revise only the formulas on Monday, please let us know in the comments. Okay, and yes, would like to hear out from you. What are your thoughts? PDF will share after some time today. Yeah, description box today is a non-working day, so that's the reason why it might take some time, and we are working obviously for you. Bye bye, take care.